Hello, everyone. It's Fred again from Notes of a Nomad, number 73. This time it's Back to the Future, showing a picture of a get-together, first time since March of last year. So that's over 15 months now. We haven't been able to have any face-to-face. This was a group from one of the Toastmasters clubs. There was 13 adults and 3 children. We had a potluck. It was strange to see a group of people together. So that is why I call it Back to the Future. Things are opening up. We're able now to meet groups of people, and a lot more things were on phase 3 as of today, which happens to be Canada Day, the 1st of July. And this brings me back to the number 8 video from the 18th of March, when I said, hey, we're closed down. It was the day the week that everything changed. And it certainly has changed. In particular, in that video, I mentioned why I'm happy to be in Canada. And so I'll just, during the pandemic, and I'll just mention some of the reasons why. At that video, I said, number 1, I'm glad I'm in Canada because we have national health care. And number 2, we have the CBC Radio, the Canadian Broadcasting Corporation, where they share a lot of accurate information, and you can phone in and get your questions answered. And the third is Canadians are relatively compliant. If you suggest they do something, they tend to do it. Not everyone, but in general. So those were the 3 things, and I still think that's why we've done well. And I'll just give you an example of some numbers, because I believe I'm very fortunate to be here on Vancouver Island, and these are some of the reasons. I don't know how clearly you can see these numbers, but I compare it with some other places in the world. We have a population of 875,000 people on Vancouver Island, just under 1 million. If we had the same rate of deaths per million as they had in the United States, we would have had 1,630 people passed away on this island since the pandemic started. If we had the same numbers as Sweden, we would have had 1,256 people die on Vancouver Island because of this pandemic. If we had the same rate of death as the overall in Canada, we would have had 604 people die on Vancouver Island. Because we're in the province of British Columbia and it's done twice as well, the average is less. In other words, it's much less than it is on the average for Canada. And we would have had 300 people die on Vancouver Island. Because we are on Vancouver Island, we have had 41 people die. So that's one of the reasons I'm very happy that I'm living on Vancouver Island, because it has some of the lowest death rates in North America. So another way of looking at it, for every 1 person who has passed away because of the pandemic on Vancouver Island, if it was the same, we would have had 40 die if it was the same number of the United States, or 30 would have died for each 1 person if we had the same numbers as Sweden. If it was the same number of the average for Canada, 14 people would have died for each one. And then the average for British Columbia, the province, instead of for each 1 person, we would have had 7 die. So that is reason to celebrate the fact that I'm very grateful for having been on Vancouver Island for this whole year. Now, I also mentioned things have changed. Pet sitting had disappeared. Well, next week, I move for my first pet sitting gig since the pandemic started in March. And I have another 3 lined up that will happen until September. So that things are coming back to the future. It's not the same, will never be the same as it was prior to the pandemic, but things are opening up. What did I do in the past year? Just to summarize, I went and spent some time on my friend's boat. I visited my daughter for about a week in Vancouver, spent about a month with my son in Nanaimo, rented a place for about 3 months, and then spent 7 months on the boat until about a month ago. I came here to my friend's downstairs suite. And next week, I move to my first pet sitting gig. So that's what is happening. We've opened up. I had a get together of 16 people on Monday, which was back to the future. A little bit different, but we're opening up. And let's keep our fingers crossed that things will continue. I've had my 2 injections of the Pfizer vaccine, so I'm looking forward to hopefully travel by year end, maybe even get to Australia, which would be lovely because I missed going and traveling. So that's all for now. And it's starting to open up, and that's back to the future. So wish you, your family, friends, lots of love and laughter as we get back to the future. Bye for now from Fred and Notes of a Nomad.